Y'all tap in, tap in, tap in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. When y'all step in, you feel me? You know what I mean? Been a long day. Definitely appreciate all the love and support I've been getting. Y'all already know what time it is. You know, it's like bright as hell. But yeah, man, definitely appreciate the love and all the likes, all the subscribers I've been getting over the last couple of weeks. My page been going up. You know what I'm saying? Shit been going up. So, you know, at this point, it's only up. Like I keep saying, it's only up from now. But came to tap in with y'all. Probably would have had tapped in sooner, but you know, life be life, and so yeah, I probably would have had tapped in sooner, but what's the deal? What's the deal? Tap in, tap in. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. Tap in. What's the deal with y'all, man? What's going on, good people? Let me know something. What's the deal, Crow? What's going on, baby? What's going on, Crody? Man, just on this bitch, man, just popping my shit. But it's funny, right? I was actually seeing another YouTuber talk about Meek Mill getting 13% out of 100. Like, and the YouTuber I rock with him, you know what I'm saying? Doggy Diamond, somebody that's actually been in the YouTube space for years. Used to do the whole Forbes DVD and all that type of shit. But I seen him talking about how Meek was only getting 13%. He was showing the article, you know what I'm saying? He was showing the article. Sean, what it do, baby? Salute. Man, I appreciate you tapping in. But I was seeing the article. Well, he was showing the article or whatever that Meek Mill was only receiving like 13% out of 100, I guess, off of, like royalties or whatever. And I actually was trying to look for it on Hot New Hip Hop, cause that's where I seen it at, and I couldn't find it at the time, but they upload a lot of hip hop news very frequently on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was just looking at it when the YouTuber was showing it, and I was just looking like, damn, 13%. He was getting 13% for 13 years out of 100. That lets everybody know that he was getting pennies. Oh man, I appreciate that. But that lets everybody know that he was getting pennies. Make sure y'all hit that like button and that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? When y'all come in this month, you know what I mean? But yeah, that let me know he was getting pennies. Literally, he was getting pennies. You know what I'm saying? And you mean to tell me that you was signed to a major label, which is MMG, and I know MMG is was under Atlantic, and you was getting 13%? Man, that's goddamn. I mean, it don't get no worse than that. It really don't. It don't get no worse than that. 13%. It's just mind blowing. Like, wow, what these entertainers go through. You know what I'm saying? And these rappers and stuff like that. But I just was looking at that like, you can't be fucking serious. 13%. You would have been better off working at a job at Walmart probably and just rapping. Oh yeah, Crow. Yeah, most definitely. And I could, you know what? And time go by so quick. I can remember when MMG, when Ross first signed them, Wale, Meek, and it was another dude named Pill. I think Pill still rap. I think Pill is from Atlanta. but I don't know what happened with his deal. He was on the first MMG album, the mixtape, whatever you want to call it, the first one they did. He was on a couple of tracks, and I remember seeing him with the MMG chain and all that, but I really don't know what happened with that. He was literally like in and out. And I could remember them all being on 106 and Park. You know what I'm saying? And how he was saying he was so happy to be signed and this and this and that. But people got to know that Meek was once signed to Grand Hustle, which is T.I. label. He was signed to Grand Hustle. At the time when he was signed, I think T.I. was going through what he was going through with the whole gun situation and all of that. He was going through that situation. You know what I mean? And when T.I. was about to go in and do his time, do his bid, Meek was about to get out. So it was just it was a lot going on between them. I mean, you know, with Meek and with T.I. at the time. So it was just like, you know, it was just bad timing. But to only be receiving 13%, that's crazy. Like 13, come on. But you know, I was just seeing that and just thought like, damn, that's got to be the most horriblest thing to, you know what I mean? And then I was looking at what was it? The whole Gunna situation. Gunna was being Gunna is about to drop his last album with YSL. That was also, I had seen that actually on Hot New Hip Hop as well. That Gunna about to drop his last project with them. And then it's no surprising because he was just recently, what was that, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, getting his YSL tattoo removed, or I think he got it covered up. But that's another, well, not crazy, but ever since Gunna been out, you know, I could say he putting out music and still working. On the flip side of that, you know, you got in the room, you got on, I can't say he got on the stand, but you got in front of these people and said YSL is a gang and it need to be stopped. Now, it don't really seem like Thug has been tripping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hell, he ain't crazy for signing a deal. And as far as getting that, I mean, dog, it's you know what I mean? It's one thing when you sign directly to the label, but it's a whole nother thing when you sign to an artist that might be just a head of a label or quote unquote running his own label and he's signing somebody. You know what I'm saying? I can remember, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier, I can remember when Big Sean and Ludacris was going through their little situation back in like, what was that, 2010, 2011, round up in there somewhere. And he was, and I remember him saying on the song, basically saying like, you signed to a nigga that signed to a nigga that signed to a nigga. So it's like, it's different when you directly sign to the label, but when you sign, it's like you signing through second and third party. When you signing through second and third party, it's a whole different ball game. It's a difference when you sign into second and third party, hands down. Like, I mean, anywhere it go, is the label now. 100 out of 100 always gonna be on some type of, you know, bull. You know what I'm saying? We understand that, but I'm quite sure it's a little bit different when you sign directly, say to whoever, Jimmy Iovine, or directly to QC, or directly to, you know, this and that, or whatever label it may be, versus signing to, say, like an artist. Like if somebody was signing to, shit, I don't know, I don't know, shit, Ross, anybody, and you signing to him, which is, he might have partnership under this and that label, but it was just real, you know, crazy to see. And then, let me see, what else was going on? Oh yeah, and then get back to Gunna. My bad, y'all. I was looking at something. Um, like I said, Thug ain't been tripping. He ain't really been tripping on far as, you know, really seemed like too much of anything. Cause I don't really think he even said too much about Lil Baby bringing out YFN Lucci. Now we know that YFN Lucci and Thug always had, you know, beef and it's always been war between them two. But to see Lil Baby do that, it was like, damn. But it don't really seem like he been, you know, tripping anything. But far as Gunna, you know, you went in there and really said what you said, and I know behind that Thug that he had to feel some type of way. Thug had to feel some type of way from him saying, "Yo, this is a gang and it need to be stopped." He had to feel like, damn, you crossed me. I took you from nothing to something. And he was with Thug from like all the way back in like 2016. You know what I mean? And out of everybody, even people that was around Thug or signed to YSL before him, they have the most songs out of anybody. I was just seeing an interview with Duke. And he was just saying they stayed in the studio every night. He said they got so many songs together. Thug and Gunna got so many songs together that a lot of other ones people didn't even get a chance to even hear and probably would never come out. He was like, that's how much they worked. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I definitely seen that coming. Him fully separating himself. That was stage one. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, once he said what he said in that courtroom, that was phase one of him already separating himself from them. You know what I mean? So even when he got his tattoo covered up, it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't like, oh shit. You know what I mean? He already gave a statement and did what he did, or should I say, said what he said. And really, it wasn't that. It was state. It wasn't even federal. That's the crazy part about it. It was federal. I mean, it was state. It was a state case. So, and he said what he said, but I just think like somebody like Gunna wasn't built for it. You know what I mean? Definitely wasn't built for it. And he never was a trap artist or nothing like that. You know what I mean? He's not from the trap. You know what I mean? Or I'm not gonna say he's not from the trap, but he's just not that type of artist. His concept of what he rap about is a little bit more on some fly shit. On that type of time. But when he, I think once he had, went chose the other side and said what he said, that was pretty much it. Will he still be able to do shows? Yeah, he'll still be able to do shows and things like that, and but far as like certain people rocking with him like they once was, nah, I think that'll be over with. I think that'll be over with. I think that is kind of over with due to the fact that a lot of people rock with Thug. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. You know what I mean? So I don't ever see nobody rocking with him. You know what I'm saying? You even got somebody like Desto Dub that rock with Thug. You know what I mean? And he strictly do clothing, or as far as we know, you know what I'm saying? He strictly do clothing. He got a YSL chain and everything. So I don't really see anybody rocking with Gunna that really support and really rock with Thug like that, period. You know what I mean? But I know some of his best music came from when he was with Thug, period. Man, Ning, what it do, baby? Salute, man. Salute. Yeah, man. I went, like a couple of nights ago, nigga, I went live like twice. I jumped on live, you know what I'm saying? And then like an hour later, I went live. Yeah, I've been trying to rack up the numbers, bro. And really, you see, like, I just been doing shorts. I just been dropping shorts and shit, and that shit been working. That shit been working, though, dog. And that's the crazy part about it. You know what I mean? you know, and just been giving my little takes on it. You know what I mean? I might see some shit, boom, you know what I mean? Give it a couple little, give it a good little thought, and just go in. You know what I mean? Pretty much, but it's been working for me. You know, I was stagnated for a minute, for a while. You feel me? Ain't getting man. You know what? The other night, man. The other night, Keita was on here. Shout out to Keita. And she said the same shit. She said the same thing. And this was a couple of nights ago. This was a couple of nights ago, bro. This was a couple of nights ago. What's today? Sunday? This probably was like, shit, maybe this was like Wednesday. She said the same thing. Shout out to Keita. Man, she said the same thing. She was like, I didn't even get no notification. But my channel, my shit been going, I mean, just from dropping the shorts, my shit been going crazy. You know what I mean? It's been going crazy for me. I'm even surprised. I'm like, damn, my shit been growing. You know what I'm saying? A couple of people been letting me know that, like, so I don't know, maybe it's, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the, you know, I'm been like really pushing myself through the algorithm. They probably like, oh, wait, you know, this nigga need to slow down, you know what I mean? And then I'm giving some pretty decent takes, you know what I mean? I'm not saying like, yeah, I just know what I know or see what I see and just, shit, give my reaction to it. Wow, see, that's crazy, Sharp. I might as well, damn, let me see. I'm going to mod you up, Sharp. That's crazy as hell, though. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, I didn't even know that. Yeah. Well, like I said, she did tell me the other night. She like, yeah. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But I'm going to just keep, you know, keep at it. Keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. You know what I mean? And then I just, somebody just sent me a soundboard like the other day, like a little, you know what I mean? So I got all that, but yeah, my shit, man, you know, been going up. But yeah, but far as Gunna, I feel like he would never really probably have that same attraction as he once did. Oh yeah, you know I am, bro. You know I am. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah, you know it's all love, Sean. Oh yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. Yeah, but I don't think Gunna would never have that same attraction. And like I said, I definitely seen this coming. Like I was just saying, his first separation, point blank period, was when he got in that room and said what he said. And it's like a bittersweet thing, man, because, you know, he could have maybe got to that point where he really thought about like, damn, you know, the way we going is all good, but, you know, let me change my ways. But at the same time, the person that got you in that position, you saying it, and everything is pointing to him, you telling these people that, yeah, it's a gang and it need to be stopped. You know what I mean? And really, you could have just stuck it out and roll with the punches like everybody else did. You know what I mean? Could it possibly be rekindled? Who knows between Thug and Gunna? But like I said, I know they did some real good, decent music together. Thug projects and Gunna albums. But it's just crazy. It is, but and maybe at this point in time, his contract is up or about to be up with, you know, YSL, and he probably just like, you know, let me just go on a fully step away. But and then, matter of fact, the second one was just him covering up his tattoo. So it's all falling in line of, you know, him separating himself from them fully. Point blank period. Point blank period. Point blank period. It's him separating himself. So, you know, but I think musically, you'll have a few people probably here and there, you know, the ones that might be biased, you know what I mean? Or, I don't know. But it's crazy because I see Offset rocking with Gunna, right? And then you see Offset rocking with Gunna, but then on the flip side, you see Lil Baby, which is him and Thug is like that. Like, he knew Thug way before he was even rapping. You see him bring out YFN Lucci. So it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I really don't know. So I had to really just think about that. Like, damn, I really can't really even say nothing about Gunna because no, I mean you can most definitely, but it's just crazy to see from both ends on Gunna part and definitely Lil Baby, and this is somebody that been around Thug before Lil Baby was, you know what I mean, or just as long. So no, I think even longer, honestly, you know. So it's like but I guess maybe behind the scenes somewhere, you know, maybe they, had maybe Lucci and YFN Lucci and Thug maybe had a conversation or some sort, but it's been bloodshed on both sides. Yeah, no, he didn't fall. No, hell no. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. But it's just weird. I'm with you on that thing. And I'm just saying it's weird far as Little Baby bringing him out because it's been so much between YSL and YFN. You get what I'm saying? That's the only thing I'm saying. So it's like, damn. You know what I mean? And I'm only saying, see, this is the thing. The only reason why I'm saying is because we all know how Lil Baby and Thug is like this. Hell, Lil Baby got a YSL chain. All of Lil Uzi, all them niggas got YSL chains. I remember seeing a picture, and it looked like they was at some nice ass luxury party. I'm talking about even the background. I was like, damn, just real elegant. You know what I mean? But well, some laid back shit. But it was a picture with Thug. Thug was in the picture. Lil Baby and Uzi. They all had on YSL chains. But I'm just saying, far as they like, what is that? You know what I mean? Because if I'm that cool with somebody, and maybe y'all, if me and somebody is like that, and the person you bring out on the stage, we done had a lot of turmoil, I'm gonna look at you a certain type of way, especially if we didn't have really if we never had no conversation about this. I'm gonna look at you a certain type of way, like damn, and then I don't know, it would just put me in a weird spot. Even if that person came to me and say, hey man, like my brother, I love you, blah blah blah, this that, but I'm thinking about bringing so and so out on stage. That would really like throw me so far off. I might just up and slap that nigga or punch him because just for the simple fact, it's like, how dare you ask me that? But at the same time, it's like maybe they did have a conversation. Maybe. I don't know. They could have, or maybe they couldn't. I don't know. But it's still just, I don't know, man. It's strange to it's strange to see. You know what I mean? And I'm only saying that because, like I said, Lil Baby and Thug is like that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows that. From I don't care if you from Atlanta, LA, Chicago, New York, Arizona, Vegas, everybody knows that about them too. Like, you know what I mean? Out of probably all the rappers that's on the scene, and we know that Thug fuck with a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, as far as music goes, or and he, a lot of people mess with him, and he mess with a lot of people. And he got, he I would say he's one of the Atlanta favorites. You know what I mean? Definitely. But just to see that is just like, damn. But man, I can't wait until he drop his album. I cannot wait until Thug drop his album. I can't wait to hear what Gunna is talking about, because this is the first album he done dropped or about to drop that he's been working on since Thug been home. Them other two albums, did he drop two albums or one when he got out? Meaning, I can't remember. I think he dropped like two albums since he been out. So this will be the third one, but this is the only one that he's about to drop that, since Thug been out, this is the only one he'll be about to drop. So I'm just very curious to see what he's rapping about. You know what I mean? Even on Thug's album, so that's gonna be that's gonna be something very interesting to see. Even with somebody like Meek, only getting 13% out of 100. You know what I'm saying? Only getting 13%. Like, I don't know why. I really don't. I've been thinking about that all day. I don't know why. Like, that shit just been on my, it's been, ever since I seen it, it's like, I don't know why. And usually, I don't even, I might see some shit, then think about it, then whatever. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's entertainment. But I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe because I didn't have much to do today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it is, but ever since I seen that Meek shit, I was just like, wow. Like, I just been blown away off that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, maybe because he was rapping this shit so much, you know what I mean? MMG, but it's like, damn, dog, you wasn't really getting anything. If that is true, and we have seen this time and time and time and time and time and time and time again from artists. Oh, I wasn't getting this, or they was doing this to me that I was getting effed over in the back end, or this one took my publishing and blah blah blah, or I had to sell my publishing and I thought I could get it back and I couldn't get it back. You say he need to stop claiming your city, man. Damn, I actually heard somebody say that before, or say like he really wasn't from Philly or something. Somebody was actually like personally that I know was telling me that. You know what I mean? Like a while, not too long ago. Well, yeah, a little while back. That's crazy you said that, Sean. Like wow. Um, but I think a lot of these artists be so eager um, to be signed and get the fame and the fortune. I mean, well, should I? Shit, not even a fortune. Just get the fame and don't think about the real business side of it. They don't really think about the real business side of it because there's so many artists, even going all the way back in the day, like getting real fucked over by, you know what I mean? Or wasn't, it's only a few. It's really probably a little bit over a handful that we could really say that really didn't get messed over. But even with them, some of them in the beginning maybe did, and then like for instance, somebody like Ray Charles, he probably did, got a taste of it a little bit, but had enough common sense to where it has got somebody around him to where, and start really owning his music, and what I'm saying, really getting compensated and paid from his shows or music and stuff like that. But and I'm just using him as an example, but you know what I mean. It's been time and time again. It's been so many artists. It's either they done got shortchanged, or they done went through pretty much hell and back just through the industry, or you know what I'm saying, or both. 9 times out of 10, or both. Yeah, if you're not, hell yeah, Sean. If you're not indie, yeah, you definitely get a rape. Yeah, yeah. And I said, excuse my language, because I know how YouTube be. But yeah, heck yeah, hell yeah. If you not, yeah, and that's really the wave now. That's really the wave. You see people, you see an artist like Young Boy, um, I mean, so many artists. Even when R.P. Draco, when Draco was still out here mashing, I mean mashing and really putting on for the West. It's so many artists, but it's been a lot of art. It's been a nice amount of artists over the last past, I would say, 10 years plus that's been independent. Honestly, that's been independent. And I think that came from the surge of social media. Social media, I would say, played a good part of it. But once these dudes figure out, oh damn, especially the young cats. Oh damn, I can record myself. And you know what I'm saying? I could do it like this. I could do it like that. You know what I mean? I could put out my own music. Shit, I could put out. You know, I could do. I could. You know, I know so and so that do videos. I could get him and throw him maybe a good 250, 300 to do the video. You know, once that came about, and you didn't need no label, you know what I mean? It was over with. It was over with as far as on the indie side. Because back then, you had to have a label to push you. You know what I'm saying? To get you out there, you had to be signed. You had to be. Man, who the Samuel L. Jackson. I think I know who that is. Yeah, here from Philly. That's what's up. Appreciate the love. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the, hit that like button when you step in. Yeah, all that. I definitely appreciate the love, but yeah, man, that's the wave though. That's the wave. Being independent. I mean, being independent, and you know, you don't need a label. You know what I mean? But once that happened, you know, you could put your own self on. You know what I mean? Because like I was saying, back then you had to be signed to a label to get heard. You had to be signed. You had to be signed to a label. You had to be signed to get on the radio, all of that shit. Like, you know what I mean? That was the only way you was about to get some music out. You know what I mean? That's why the labels is not as dominant as they once were back then. Yeah, you still got Def Jam and, you know, Atlantic and, you know, the sub labels inside. You know what I'm saying? You still got all of that. But you don't need no motherfucking label. I don't need y'all. You know what I'm saying? I could go get myself hot. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know you know what I'm saying? You know the dude, you know the people that's doing beats. You know a few cameramen. You know a few studios. And then if you don't even know the studio, but you don't even need a damn studio. You could literally go get the what is the padding called? The soundproof. Hook that shit up. Record everything off your iPhone, anything. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe you could say, well, so I'm gonna go take this to so-and-so and get it mixed and mastered. Or, you know, and studios is a little bit more accessible nowadays too. It's not like how it was in the 90s and the, you know, the early 90s, late 90s, and the early 2000s. They're way more accessible now. Then you don't want to go that route, fuck it, I'll record myself. So it's like, you know, and I think a lot of artists is seeing that, especially the ones that's been in the game, that's been around, you know, even like the Rick Rosses and the Jim Jones and, you know, cats that's been around for so long. Because guess what? Rick Ross is not even on Def Jam no more. A lot of people might not even know that. Like, Rick Ross is not even on Def Jam no more. He's an independent artist. That last album he put out, what was that called? Oh shit. What was that last album? Was that the last album? The last album he put out was Richer Than I Ever Been, I think, something like that. But the last one, he's independent now. He's not signed to Def Jam no more. He ain't signed to Def Jam no more. You know, so it's like, and then once you get to a point like that, you know, you don't need nobody because you know everybody already. Say like a Rick Ross, he know everybody already. You feel me? So, yeah, hell yeah, I love that for Ross. He used to only upload YouTube, so his label wouldn't get money. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember a couple of them songs. Rick Ross had a few dope. I would say he had a good, like, two to three good mixtapes. Ashes to Ashes. What was the other one? He had a few. Damn, what was the other one? I can't even think right now, but he had a few, like, especially around 2010, 2011, 2012. Hell yeah, Ross was going in. And you already know, that's when him and Diddy was really tied in. Like, you know what I mean? And really, that's another thing. Diddy came and saved Ross when, if y'all remember, when 50 and Ross first started beefing, when they first started beefing, that was like 20, that was like '09. That was like 2010. I'll never forget. I was living with my sister and everything then. When they first started beefing, that was around the time, Ross was doing what Ross was doing? Deeper Than Rap. Yeah, that was that album. Because that was Ross' third album. That was like a year or two after Triller. And he was doing that shit, Deeper Than Rap. And I'll never forget it. That's when 50 and him first started beefing. And 50 almost put that nigga, like, it was to the point where Ross was looking bad. He was down. He was down. Like, I'm talking about far as like in the music, 50 was, and then that's when 50 was really on that like type of time for real. And I can remember that, like he was on that, like he was, oh man, oh my God. He was, yeah. You said you watched the interview about that? He paid Drake out for free. Yeah, yeah. All of that. He did all of that. Hell yeah. Yeah, Ross left. Yeah, hell yeah, he left. He's not even, like I was saying, KJ, he's not even signed to Def Jam no more. I think he's been not signed for the past couple of years, like 5 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it's been a nice little minute, you know what I mean? But like I said, once you get to that point, you know everybody in the game, you know, you still know the people you know what I'm saying? Because you done gang, he's somebody that's been, you know, mashing ever since he been in. So all the people, he already know all the right people. So at that point, you don't need a label. No, you know what? I do got Twitch. I do got Twitch, KJ, but I gotta start being on Twitch more. I definitely got it. You know what I'm saying? I just I just followed somebody the other day off of Twitch. But yeah, I got Twitch. Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I just really been trying to, you know what I'm saying, get more comfortable with just front of the camera and all that shit. But I'm getting better at it, you know what I'm saying, because I've been seeing how my channel been growing, and I just really my channel been growing just all off of these shorts. I've been doing shorts like every single day now. Like now it's slowly getting to the point where, like, if I don't do nothing on YouTube, not even one thing, I feel like like I'm missing something now. At first I didn't feel like that at all. I didn't have that feeling. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. But I know a lot about music. I tell people that all the time. Everybody that know me personally, like, I know a lot about music. It's crazy. Like, if I was from like LA or somewhere, and shout out to all my LA dudes, you know what I'm saying? But if I was like from LA or New York, I definitely would have been like a A&R for some label. Definitely. Definitely. I really appreciate that. I really do. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. That means a lot. You know what I mean? That definitely means a lot, because I've definitely been, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still learning as I go. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning. You know, I done had people just do recently and the past give me pointers and advice and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's real shit. That's real. And I'm with you on that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And I got a few people, you know what I'm saying, that I rock with in this content, you know what I mean, space, you know, from dudes from New York, LA, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, a few, you know what I mean? I feel like that does great work, and that, you know what I mean, and good what they're doing, period. Whether, doesn't matter what they're talking about. Yeah, I'm a genuine person, but see, you see that how you said that. I always been like this since I was a kid. I naturally had that about myself. Like if I rock with a person, I rock with them all the way. You know what I mean? And I might see some shit, or they might say some shit, or that I might not always agree with. But if I, you know what I'm saying? If I genuinely rock with you, I genuinely rock with that person. Period. You know what I'm saying? A person will have to damn near kill me or try to kill me or set me up for me to go all the way fly off the handle or just be on bullshit, bunk shit. You know what I'm saying? Like dead ass, a person will have to damn near about to, try to set my house on fire or some shit for me to really be like, okay, it's all out war. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? F this person. You know what I'm saying? That's when I, take it over and beyond. But other than that, I rock with somebody, I'm all the way in. You feel me? I definitely appreciate that. You know, that means a lot to your boy, for real. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? I'm just a cool nigga from the West Side. I'm from, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same things that go on here goes on everywhere. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you from. You know what I mean? The same struggles and the same struggles and the same hardships that everybody go through. We go through too. So you know what I mean. But definitely Detroit, just like every city, got something special about it. You know what I'm saying? Detroit is got a lot of deep history though. You know what I'm saying? But like for real, if like goes way beyond like Motown and all that. Like it was, you know, there's a couple of videos on, floating around on YouTube. But yeah, it was, Detroit, from what I done even seen myself, always been like a turned up city. You know what I mean? Detroit always been like, even all the way, even go all the way back to the Prohibition days. Like if you know, you know what I'm saying? And then probably be too, because Detroit, we, at a point in time, we was looked at as one of the major cities, but Detroit is a smaller city compared to, say, a New York or LA or Vegas or the Bay or Arizona or Houston. But everybody, like, the thing with Detroit niggas, if you're a real one, thing about with Detroit niggas, we could go anywhere and niggas rock with us. Like genuinely, if you a real one, and it's real niggas from everywhere. Don't get me wrong, it's real niggas all over the map, all over the fucking world. But people has always said that Detroit dudes got special thing, like a special thing about them. You know what I mean? Whatever that may be, or whatever that may, wherever that is. So, but you know what I mean? And I remember watching a documentary about our city, and about my city, shall I say, and it was this dude that used to be in the streets, used to do his thing, but he was like, man, it's a gang of Detroit dudes set up everywhere around the United States, whether on the other side of things or the good side of things. But you know what I'm saying? He's like, man, I learned that from being in the Fed. So we get love from anywhere we go. Especially, like I said, if you're a real one and you ain't on no bullshit and all that, hell yeah, for sure. For sure. Ice Lord, what up, man? What's cracking with you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You say your uncle from Detroit? Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hell yeah. So you already know. Yeah. What side? What side? East, west, southwest? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But Detroit niggas is like real like hustlers though. Like we like out of everything. And like I said, we go through a lot of the same things. See, like with LA, they go through a lot too. But see, LA is so big. And shout out to my nigga Neem. He might still be in the chat, but he just was. He's from LA. You know what I mean? But LA is huge. And LA is they got it's different rules and regulations in LA because you know, that's where all the gangs and shit come from. You know, they stand on a different type of business out there. Yeah, yeah. And basically just bullshit. Yeah. When somebody on some other, yeah. Bull. Yep, yep, yep. For sure, yep. But yeah, Detroit always been a crazy city. Like I said, it's always been turned up. But I feel like New York feel, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. You feel me? You can make it anywhere. Um, but at a point in time, you gotta know, like, we was really one of them cities, like, like in the shit. Even like yeah, I know I had to go so far back, but like even in like '60s, you know what I'm saying, the '70s, '80s, we was running them cities like for real, like. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of hustlers that came from here. And then, you know, once upon a time, because Motown didn't even move. Motown moved to LA in like 71, 72. So you got to think all the years before that, Motown was here. I'm talking about from the Supremes and Marvin Gaye. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain streets around the city that's named after them, like Marvin Gaye and David Ruffin and stuff like that, because they, at a point in time before Motown moved, they lived in the city. You know, it's pictures right now where you can see Marvin Gaye old house and Diana Ross old house where she used to live at, and you know what I mean, and different varieties of people. You know, Smokey Robinson old house. You know, these people was from the city. You know, I mean, these people are from, well, not either from the city or, you know, was signed to Motown and moved here and had houses here, lived here, you know, party here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, so it's definitely always been a legendary city, hands down. But yeah, yeah, and that's just how it is. Let me see. Wait, yeah. Yeah. We switched on 6 different subjects. We switched up to 6 different subjects. Yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You saying that? You saying that's good that I switched up the subjects or what? Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Oh, you said the east side? That's what's up. The east side, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Is that a good thing, KJ, that I switched up? You said like 6 different topics? Yeah, you know. Is that good or bad? Let me know. Oh yeah, you know what I mean, baby, shit. Hey, I'm trying. You feel me? I definitely appreciate it, for sure, definitely. You know what I mean? But KJ, if you haven't, I know you have you subscribed yet? You gotta subscribe. Tap, you know what I mean? Subscribe for real, for real. I think I've really been getting better. Um, and like I said, I'm still learning. Um, you know what I'm saying? I'm still learning, but I know a lot about. I know a lot of things about different things. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot about, so I think that just helped my thought process. And since I've really been taking it more serious, like I would love to go like to get interviewed or interview somebody that, it's different platforms that I really rock with. You know what I'm saying? Like the Back on Fig and Community and you know what I'm saying? Uh, uh, you know, my dog Gangland Neem. It's different people I really, you know what I mean? Like for real. So, but like especially like a Back on Fig, you know what I mean? Like somebody like that, yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I think cause I can just give, like, even when it comes to music, right? Like, I have seen other podcasters talk about certain things and be totally off about what they're talking about. KJ, where you from? Man, I appreciate it. You really rocking with, man. Listen, that's what's up. For real. That I really appreciate you. And this my first, because the first time I'm seeing you. So I know it's, you know what I mean? Yeah, I fucks with that. I do. I really, really do. You know what I mean? Um, it be so much, it be so much going on in the course of the day. You know what I'm saying? What the hell? Let me see. Let me see. What was I on? Oh, hip hop US. How y'all? But if y'all, I mean, how do y'all feel about with that new? If y'all like real hip hop heads or really listen to hip hop like that, how do y'all feel about um that new Clips album that's gonna be dropping soon? How y'all feel about that? I think me personally, I think that new Clips album is gonna be one of them ones. And I'm saying that to say because I feel like hip hop, real like hip hop is slowly trying to come back. Are you from Philly? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what's up. Oh, you say you be on Twitch? Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate you seeing my live. Yeah, that new Clips album that's coming out, I think it's gonna be one of them ones. Um, and it's somebody else not only they got Kendrick on the album, but it's somebody else I just seen on their album, or they got on the album, or they got a verse on their album, and I was like, damn, they got them too. I can't even remember who the hell it was. It's on. It'll come back to me. It'll come to me. But I think their album is gonna be dope as hell. Yeah, 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 yeah. See, a lot of people don't respect lyricists nowadays, man. Like, Pusha to me always been a lyricist. The clip's always been dope. You know what I'm saying? Coming up under that Star Trek Pharrell banner, like they, you know what I mean? And he didn't have see a reason why they was dope because they was really like his only artist outside of like Khalees. Hell yeah, they gonna kill it. I'm doing good. How are you? Yeah. He already, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, most definitely Kendrick is. They got somebody else. Oh, I think Nas is on their album. I think they got Nas on their album because you know Pusha T has said something about no, Jim Jones has said something about Pusha T said well he never been a Pusha T fan. He don't really understand what the hype is all about and all this and that, right? But he he was saying like, yeah, you know, he's all right, but he was just saying he don't. I remember Jim Jones was saying something like that, along them lines on what was that? He was saying something like that on the Breakfast Club. He was saying like how, you know, he can't rap and this and that. You know what I mean? And we seen now that you know, everybody's been doing this whole weird comparison with Jim and Nas. And then you got Pusha that, you know, I mean, Jim Jones has said, you know, has spoken on Pusha and stuff like that. And you see he go get Nas. They go get Nas and put him on the album. I think this is real hip hop coming back. And I just like the competitiveness, the competitor of the sport because nowadays we don't see it. It's more, if we see a beef, it's more street. You know what I mean? That's why even when this whole Drake and Kendrick situation came about, it was more hip hop. And that's why I don't understand why the fuck like J. Cole bagged himself up out of it because it was strictly just, you know, rapping. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't understand that, but I didn't get that. But I think it's slowly trying to get back to that real hip hop competitive sport, but hip hop has always been like this. I mean, it's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? From the only time it got street, or the only time it got violent, or it started getting violent when the whole situation with Pac and Big, with Tupac and Biggie. So, but before that, it was all about, who's the better rapper, and who could really could compete, who could go and sell the most records, the most sold out shows and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And even still, Pac was trying to get back to the music, and really put out good music again. But I think where it's at now, oh man, I think it's slowly trying to get back to that. Because when this Clips album come out, I think it's gonna be dope. And then Malice, his brother, he haven't been rapping for years. You know what I mean? We know he fully gave himself to, God or whatever, and move in another direction. But he's back at it. You know what I mean? And I can't wait to hear the subjects he's gonna be rapping about. You know what I mean? But I don't even think he's gonna even probably even curse like that. But I think even, and it might be words here and there, of course. But when you're a good lyricist, and you know a good lyricist when you hear it, even with like a person like Jim Jones. Jim Jones is somebody that started out, some would definitely say terrible, but has gotten better over time. And this could be the same way for Malice. You know what I mean? Where he has gotten better over time due to the fact that he took years back. You know what I'm saying? He backed up away from everything, and he could have really had to take time back and get his mind all the way fully together. And he might, and I only heard like two songs. Well, the Ace Trumpet song that they released, I think that's on, no, that's both of them. But it's only been the two songs, So Be It and Ace Trumpets. But I can't wait for this to come out. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for this to come out. It sucks that the Neptunes is not together no more though. You know what I mean? But Pusha was saying that he got mad love for Chad. He said he still see Chad to this day. He might see him out somewhere, a restaurant, anything. But you know, he damn near, and he just said this in an interview. But I could see, I could tell, I could sense that his full dedication, his full loyalty lies with Pharrell, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? But listen, but so that's the whole thing about it. You know what I mean? That real rap, that real hip hop is getting back to the true essence. But they always say history repeats itself. You know what I mean? But I'm just one of the ones that really grew up on real hip hop. You know what I mean? I can remember the days where you had to go buy CDs and albums. You know what I mean? And growing up having an older brother, and you know what I mean. So I got really a chance to hear a lot of music and a lot of different artists and a lot of different pockets and um, 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 a lot of different areas as I was growing up, and y'all can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I got some pictures and shit right there right now, but those are vinyls for real, like that motherfucking Boogie Down Productions. That like that's goes to show you how much I probably wasn't even born when that shit came out. You know what I'm saying? Not to say I'm super young like that, but I know I was mad. I was a young dog. I was a young pup. You know what I mean? Vinyl, and I got way more shit than that. So that just goes to show you how much music I'm tapped into. You know what I'm saying? So to see the like slowly but surely the essence of like real music, niggas with bars and stuff come back, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. But of course, still from time to time, you still gonna, you definitely might want to hear some turn up music, and you know what I'm saying, because it's a time and place for everything. But even with that type of music, it was always a time and place for that. It's just that the drill and the Chicago drill, it just took over. You know what I'm saying? Then when Chicago drill took over, New York adapted to it instantly and saying, "Oh damn, that's how they giving it up." They could rap about this and rap about that and get on and get millions and get views and get likes. They got on the same wave, and the Chicago drill started. You know, from the Chicago drill with the Chief Keefs and with what I'm saying, with all of them. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's getting back to that. I think it's getting back to that, and that's one thing that I definitely respect and like about even with like Jim Jones. He was like, yo, I done learned a lot from the younger generation, but I never tried to follow or run behind, do what they do. You know what I'm saying? As much as they help me, you know what I'm saying? As much as advice I give them, they give me, and meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I just seen him just saying that. You know what I mean? So I was just hearing Jim Jones say that, and I think that's dope as hell. You know what I mean? And he is somebody. That's why they call him the young old nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because he is somebody that's older and has been around. But even with Jim Jones, like I think the reason why Jim Jones always been a cocky type of arrogant type. Well, not arrogant, but always felt like, I'm gonna be one of the ones. Even when he wasn't a good rapper, he always had that persona about himself. But far as right now, he from his age, from his class, he is like really like the only one. I won't say like the only one. Definitely one of the ones that's continuously to put out music. You know what I mean? So I can understand why he pop it the way he pop it. I just saw him then wasn't always rapping about the same thing. Yep, that's a fact. Yeah, I'm thinking we reaching a new level with it. His lyrical starting Detroit and Flint. You think about it. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Real bars, real lyricists. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because you'll see somebody like, let's say, Jeezy. Jeezy is somebody that's been around, right? You could kind of put Jeezy in that same class with Jim Jones, far as when they started rapping. Of course, Dipset got started a little bit before Jeezy came out, but far as how the time frame when they took off, it was around the same time frame. But as of right now, I don't even think somebody like Jeezy would even get that much attraction as Jim Jones. No, I'm not gonna say that much attraction, but far as being as relevant, and I'm only saying that because I have seen the last couple of albums Jeezy has put out, and it really didn't gain any momentum, say as uh, TM 101, Thug Motivation 101, or The Recession, or you know what I mean? I forgot the other album, but those albums, the last couple of ones he put out really, didn't do as well. Versus like a person like Jim Jones, his last couple of albums that he put out actually did some good, decent numbers. And I think that's because he's constantly in the algorithm. He's been outside. He he let you know that himself, like, what I mean? But he is somebody that I think has really gotten better as far as bars. He and even with them, like with Dipset, like he is somebody that passed up Cameron. And I think the reason why Cam really started doing podcasts or became a podcaster is because to get himself really in the algorithm. You don't see Mace on what's their podcast name? It is what it is, dropping no damn freestyles, or maybe I don't think he has, but like I feel like Cam some way still want to rap. You know what I'm saying? I think he still want to be a rapper. Because if you wasn't, but that's just like somebody that don't want to be in an NBA, but or don't want to do something, but from time to time, they, you know what I'm saying, they partaking in it. Yeah, yeah, it was the hardest. It was, but like I said, I definitely think that you know, I definitely feel like it's getting back to that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel like it's getting back to that. Oh man, wow, I'm just looking at this. It says, let me see if I can click on it. Will Smith. Hold on, y'all. Hopefully it come up this been acting weird. But I'm looking at something just right now on Hip Hop DX where it said um, Will Smith. That's crazy. Will Smith disses Chris Rock in a new freestyle. Like even he's trying to start back rapping, right? You see that shit? Like he even trying to start back rapping. You know what I'm saying? He's even trying to start back rapping. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so I just think, like I keep saying, I don't want to keep, you know, but I really feel like it's slowly trying to get that way. And even with some of these artists that say like a Jim Jones, I feel like maybe like a Jim Jones could uh, not per se have somebody to follow in his lead. Maybe some of these young boys that maybe look up to some of these rappers, but it's very few that does. You know what I mean? Because they be so much on their own wave. But maybe you know it'll make that transition once again. You know what I mean? And but I think it is. I think with the drill, I think with the drill rap, it's just a. I think I'm not gonna say a phase, but I feel like how they felt about rap back then, how they thought it was gonna just, uh, well, damn, I guess never mind. But no, I feel the way like how they once feel where it was gonna fade out. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the drill rap eventually will fade out, um, and it'll get back to how it was. You know what I mean? Damn, it's not coming up. What the hell? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, maybe because I was on that. Yeah, yeah. But I think even I think Lord it's gonna fully get back to that. You know what I'm saying? To where it's how it was once. It's getting back to that. Like it's getting back like that now. But I think it's gonna fully all the way get back like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it said headline reads Will Smith disses Chris Rock in new freestyle. It said Will Smith appears to have taken aim to old foe Chris Rock and new freestyle. Wow. Like even like you see that? Like even though like he's going at somebody that doesn't even fucking rap. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course we everybody know that Will Smith used to rap, but Fresh Prince and all that, but he's even, you know, taking shots at, you know what I mean, at Chris Rock. But once again, this is rap. This is being competitive. You know what I mean? Even though like he's taking shots at him, I like maybe Chris Rock would drop a freestyle. I don't know, but because he don't rap. So, but you know what I mean? Just to see something like that, it's like you know, and it seemed like it's really the old heads. It's really the older dudes, the older crowd. You know what I mean? And of course, Will Smith is way before, you know, say a Jim Jones and all of that. So but it's as you could see, like it's really getting back to that. Um, Even with the whole Jim Jones and Nas comparison, I would definitely like to see a versus with Nas and Jim Jones. You know what I mean? Just far as and I think that'd be dope as hell. I think that'll be dope. I really think that'll be dope. I can't lie, because Jim Jones do have a decent body of work. He's somebody that has been around 10 years plus, so it's like I would love to see that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people might say, well, they really not from the same time frame, and which is right, they're not. But we even seen where DMX had a versus with Snoop. Now we know DMX didn't come out when Snoop was rapping. Hell no, but they did a versus. Now was Snoop still rapping when DMX came on the scene? Yeah, of course. But they don't come from the same class. You know, we talking about DMX started in like 97, 98. Snoop was all the way back 91, 92. You know what I mean? Album Doggy Style came out in 93. So, you know, we definitely know that, you know what I mean? So I think it could be done. Honestly, I think it could be done. You know, Swiss, Tim, you know what I'm saying? Tim, I think that'll be dope though. I really think that'll be a dope ass versus. And it'd be like almost the best of both worlds because, you know, as good as Jim Jones has gotten over the years, Nas has always been dope. You know, still, you know, just in the last previous years, put out albums still, you know, with King Disease and King Disease 2, and he had a few more. As of recently, he got probably a good 4 albums, 5 albums that he done dropped over the last couple of years, you know, in different, you know, time span. Always look good. Yeah, yeah. The fuck is Chris Rock gonna do? But put on. Hey, dog, you fucked me up, bro. You just fucked me up with that. Wow, you said a champagne room. I fucks with you, Ice Lord, because dog, you man, it's crazy. I was just listening to that not too long ago, but that goes to show you. Listen, I remember when Chris Rock, man, like it's crazy when he was on that little run. I remember the comedy special, and when he had a comedy special. What was it called? Damn, I got the shit on my phone. But yeah, I remember he did a comedy special and he did that album that year. I remember that. Had a video for it with him and Gerald Levert. Yeah, yeah. R.I.P. Gerald Levert. Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy. You said champagne rum. Ha! Yeah, right. What the fuck? Like that's what he's gonna say back. Other probably do another special or something. You know, he's a comedian. Like, but I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that shit. Chris Brown back into Bigger and Black. Yep. Yep. I ain't want to be wrong. Yep. You're absolutely right. Man, dog, that's crazy. I had that on, was it tape or CD? I remember, I think it had to be tape. See, I even go back even a little, yeah, I think it was tape, but I had that as a kid, bro. Yeah, like it was to the point my mama just stopped caring. And that was another thing, like she used to let me kind of like just get off. Like meaning like it was to the point she'd let me buy certain like albums and stuff like that. All the time I couldn't buy like the explicit version and stuff like that, but she would, for the most part, she would let me buy certain albums. You know what I'm saying? I could remember, and this is my right hand. Like I could remember one Christmas, my older brother, because like I said, I got an older brother, literally buy me a pair of Timberlands, Wheat Tims, and bought me 2 CDs. And I believe of them both was DMX. But I remember one of them definitely being um, DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood album. I can't remember the other one. Maybe it was, but I remember him definitely buying me like 2 albums. And definitely I remember that, you know what I mean? So I've been, man, like I said, listening to music for a long time, but yeah, Champagne Room, Chris Rock, yeah, I remember that's, like I said, he had that whole stand-up special, and that shit was on HBO, and then he had the album Yeah, where it was just like a bunch of, it was like a comedy skit rap album. You know what I'm saying? But I can remember that shit. I remember that vividly. Like that shit was yesterday. Definitely. I can definitely remember that. Let me get back to YouTube. Let me see. Yeah, but I can remember that. But make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. Get them likes up. Man, get them likes up. Get them likes up. You hear me? Get them likes up. Man, get them likes up, man. For real, get them likes up. You feel me? Get them up. Get them up. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. If it don't mess up on the player. You're... It might stop. I don't know. My signal be horrible. The drama ignited when Jim Jones released a disc. Oh, let me get. I don't know. That sounds like some AI shit. Hold on. That's 50 Cent known for. Yeah, that sounds like some bullshit. But yeah, um, yeah, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Like, subscribe to the channel, Tay Luciano Media. That's Tay Luciano Media. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I was what let me ask y'all this though. While y'all still in here, um, I was thinking about what y'all think about. 'Cause I was thinking about changing it to TV, like Tay Luciano TV. You know what I mean? I was thinking about changing it to Tay Luciano TV, or should I just keep it as media? You know what I mean? Let me know. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was thinking about changing it to Tay Luciano. You know what I'm saying? Tay Luciano TV. You know what I'm saying? Or should I just keep it as what is already is? You know, Tay Luciano Media. Come here, dude. Oh, is it? Yeah, yeah, that's true too. You're right about that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll with the media because the thing is, I know. I was thinking like, damn, Tay Luciano TV kind of got a little bit more better ring to it. Like it sound a little bit better. Tay Luciano TV versus Tay Luciano Media, but I like where it's at now. Bet, cool. And I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, that's all I need to know, Sharon. Bet, you're looking on that. That's all I need to know. Yeah, and then I was just about to say, because I will be covering different varieties of things. You know, it could be something that's going on with, you know, in the real world. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I would definitely, and media sound a little bit more, you know, elevated, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. So yeah, but make sure y'all like. I might go back. I know it's like 12 o'clock here. I might I don't know if I might go back live tonight. I don't know. I might get on some sharp type shit. You know what I'm saying? I might go live again tonight. But make sure y'all tap back in. I might just go back live in another like hour and a half, you know, no later, 2. You know what I'm saying? Do a couple of things around the crib. But I think I might just go live again. But I gotta think of some topics and come up with some topics. Or if y'all could, as a matter of fact, if y'all come up with some topics, drop them in under one of my videos, or you know what I'm saying. And then I'm gonna get, you know, another thing I'm gonna work on. I gotta get my Instagram back going, smashing on that. You know what I mean? But my Instagram is Tay Luciano 1, because I had to switch. I had to this is actually my second page. My first page, something had happened. I couldn't even get back into it, but definitely, y'all can leave like ideas and you know, different ideas and different stuff I could possibly, you know, talk about, you know, under my videos, under shorts or whatever the case may be. Cause that'll definitely be helpful as well. I might try to go 2 for 2 tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's only, like I said, here in Michigan, in Detroit, it's only 12:04. So I might do a 2 for 2 tonight, most definitely. Yeah, and I appreciate that, y'all. That's why I asked y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's why I definitely asked y'all. Yeah, you could cover more. Yeah, yeah. I'm not putting myself in just like a box. Not even, and not to say TV, I would, but media is more broader. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, okay, you could pull from different, you know what I'm saying, different corners, different avenues, and yeah. I definitely appreciate that, y'all. But yeah, y'all can definitely hit me with some topics up under my up under this video once it end, or different shorts or whatever. Cause I might, like I say, I just might go live again. You know what I'm saying? Events, news. Yeah, you can do much more. Yeah, you can do much more with media. Yeah, okay, bet. Appreciate that, Lord. Definitely appreciate that, Ice Lord. Hell yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think I might just go live again. But like, share, and subscribe to the channel at Tay Luciano Media. That's Tay Luciano Media. You know what I mean? Tap back in. I'm out of here. Peace.